channel, JP Tires and Auto Care. My name is Gary. Today we have a 2014 Toyota Corolla LE with a 1.8 liter. I checked it out the other day. Turns out that the coolant fan motor is going bad in it. So we test the fan, we ordered a fan, we have a new fan. We're going to replace it this morning. First thing is to disconnect the battery and drain your coolant system. So we're going to do that now. I went ahead and disconnected the negative terminal, and we're getting ready to drain the coolant system to so we can remove the radiator, because I believe the way this fan is made, it comes around the radiator, so we can't just remove the fan without removing the radiator, because it's like in a bracket around the radiator. So the system is hot, so what we're going to do is we're going to relieve a little bit of pressure. Be careful when you're doing this. All right. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And we're going to find a suitable container and drain the radiator. And once we have it drained, we'll go ahead and start disassembling the unit. Well, it doesn't seem like there's an easy access for the radiator drain. Oh, it's right up here, but it's being blocked by this cover here. I see it. So we may have to remove a few panels to access it. It's right here. It's this yellow little twist. We can drain it. That back as such, and let's attempt to drain this. Let's see what it drained. I won't drain clear. Tell you what, we're gonna guide it. So the axle's okay. Let's do it. So this thing looks like it doesn't have like a straight, like a clear space where the drain hole can just drip out of the radiator. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna help it. We're gonna put, oh, that doesn't go through. So we're gonna put a hose here and then help it drain out through the hose, so that way it's not making a mess. Alright, so I was able to get this hose on the radiator drain nut. So we're going to go ahead and open that and drain it straight into the bucket. Perfect. Beautiful. Alright, so while that's draining, I'm going to grab the new fan assembly and kind of have an idea for how it looks and what all I have to take off, being that this is my first time replacing the radiator coolant fan assembly on a 2014 Toyota Corolla. So we got the fan out of the box, and obviously looking at it, you can see the reason why it's a 3-hour job, because the radiator sits inside of the fan housing. So in order for you to get the fan out, you have to, and then if you look, the fan housing comes with the reservoir, and it comes with the fan control module, okay? So we need to remove the radiator and coolant fan assembly together. All right, so let's do it. They went ahead and zip tied looks like the upper section of I'm assuming it goes as such, yeah. The upper section of the radiator coolant fan assembly. They went and zip tied it to the bottom. So let's take it apart. So you have the radiator support brackets that basically holds the radiator against the upper radiator support. There are 12 millimeters. You want to remove those. I also went ahead and removed the two 10 millimeter bolts here that holds the upper radiator support. What I also have to do, it looks like I have to remove, there's a 10 millimeter bolt here, one here, and then you have this center section here, the center support rod that holds the hood latch. We have to remove that as well, just so we can get access to, I guess make it easier to remove the radiator. Let's see, yeah, because the condenser, the AC condenser is attached to the radiator as well. Alright, so let's do it. Alright, so we have the top section off of the radiator fan assembly. Now, earlier I started to take off the upper radiator support, which I don't have to. It looks like the radiator and the condenser can separate fairly easy. Looks like you just lift up. Once you have the radiator somewhat forward, you just simply lift up on the condenser a little bit, and it comes out of that. Yeah, it comes out of that support bracket. But you still have to move this somewhat forward a little bit just to get that clearance. You need for it to come out completely out of that. So there's an ambient temperature sensor bracket attached to the lower section of the radiator. It looks like you can just simply twist it up. Give it a few twists and lift it up. So that's it right there. So you're gonna get that, set that to the side. And once you pick up on the radiator and the fan assembly, it's gonna want to come out with it. Alright, so we've got that off. So now it looks like if we simply get our radiator hose, detach our radiator hose, and yeah, we should be able to get the radiator and the fan assembly out together if we detach the radiator hose on your driver's side and the passenger side. And not to mention, you got to disconnect the fan control module as well. All right, let's get a pry tool. All right, so looks like the battery's in my way. It would be a lot easier with the battery out of the way. Alright, so I was having a hard time disconnecting the fan control module and the wire loom that sits against the fan assembly because the battery was in the way. So I went ahead and removed the battery so I can have access to that. So now that the battery is out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect fan control module, connect it to it, and then we're going to just get this connector that sits on the fan control assembly. I'm sorry, fan assembly. So we got to get there's a spring-loaded clamp here for this. It looks like the radiator hose. Looks like the outlet hose, and then you have the inlet hose over here on this side. So we're gonna disconnect both of those. All right, let's disconnect this. That's an awkward angle to have this thing in. Let's see if I can get it out. If I can rotate that slightly. Oh, still coolant coming out of there. All right. I want to remove that all the way out of your way. It looks like it's still in the way. All right. Yeah. Now that we have that completely off. All right, so we managed to get the radiator and the fan assembly out together. I'm sorry, I mean sugar honey iced tea. All right, so we're gonna transfer the radiator to the new fan assembly and try not to make a mess. All right, let's clean that up. So I attempted to obviously lift the radiator out of the fan assembly. You can't. There's two 10mm bolts that holds it on to the fan assembly, just like the top part of the radiator. You have to remove those. Well, this looks like it's going to make a mess. Alrighty. All right. So we got it together. We're about to put it back in. As you're putting this in, you want to be mindful. There's a hole where the radiator actually sits into, like a rubber grommet, like a lower radiator support, like a holding grommet, and you want to basically position the condenser onto the radiator's fan assembly at the same time, being mindful of clearance and space. Okay, this side is in as well. So don't forget to connect your ambient air temperature sensor, the bracket rather, to the front. Okay, it's in there. And it looks like we've got her somewhat together. Earlier I went ahead and disconnected the alternator because as I was lifting the fan assembly out. The reservoir was very close to it and I didn't want to damage it, so I went ahead and disconnected to get a little bit more clearance, and I went ahead and unplugged it back up. Alright, so while we're here, it looks like we can put our new top section of the upper radiator support on there now. Let's see, it looks like it goes over the condenser as such. Alright, so we got the radiator in. We're going to connect our fan control module, install the radiator hose on the driver's side, connect the radiator hose on the passenger side, and install our battery, top everything back off, and then confirm that the fan works when it's supposed to work. Alright, so that hose clamp, that spring-loaded hose clamp on this side kicked my butt, but I managed to fight back. I was able to tighten them up. We got them. Alright, so we gotta cool it. Alright, so we've got the radiator topped off. We're going to crank it up and bleed some air out of the system and monitor the fan and make sure that the fan cycles on once the engine reaches operating temperature. Alright, so I went ahead and blew off everything just in case, just kind of blow off the residue. So if it was leaking, we can see. So we're going to let it run for a few minutes and just monitor the system and then top it off. We'll make sure that the fan cycles on and cycles back off once the vehicle reaches operating temperature. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Again, my name is Gary. Thank you for watching our channel. GP Tires and Auto Care. We love you.